When we were given this assignment, I kind of had a person in mind who I was going to do for who I thought the greatest leader was in sports. But that completely changed for me when in my sports management 333 class, we were given a whole list of books to choose from, and I just kind of randomly picked one off the list. I didn't know much about any of them. They all dealt with like leadership and management and those kind of things. And so the book that I ended up choosing was John Wooden, Wooden on Leadership. And after reading this book, he is the greatest leader in sports. He won 10 men's NCAA basketball championships in a span of 12 years, which is amazing. It's the most done by anyone. And we talked about in lecture how there's the 5 personality styles, and there's like accommodation, avoidance, compromise, those kind of things, and how there wasn't really a right or wrong one to use. You just needed to know when to use them at the appropriate time, and that's what good leaders did, is they used them at the appropriate time. And John Wooden definitely is a good example of that. So throughout the book, he has a bunch of like main points, but I'm going to talk to you about the 3 main points that I think are what made him so successful and what makes him the greatest leader in sports. So the first one I'm going to talk about is how good values attract good people. So the first example I'm going to talk about is how good value attracts good people. There's an example in the book that he uses, which is like my favorite example in the whole entire book, and he invited this kid and his mom to come in, and he was planning on offering this kid a scholarship, but he wanted to sit down and meet with them first and just kind of see like where his head was. And so the mom went to go ask a question to Coach Wooden when they were in the office, and the kid looked over to the mom and said, "How can you be so ignorant? Just keep your mouth shut and listen to what Coach says." Well, that did not settle well with Coach Wooden, and he told the mom that it was okay, that she could ask whatever questions she wanted to ask, and he let the kid walk out of his office, and he did not offer him a scholarship because, he thought, if he can't respect his mom, then how in the world can he respect me? And it's kind of like the example that was in one of our lectures with Coach Boone on Remember the Titans, and he said you don't have to essentially like everyone, but you need to respect them. And he did not want someone that did not have respect and good values and good ethics to come on to his team and destroy it. So to conclude, pretty much shows you that good values attract good people, and if you want to have a good organization and you want to lead a good group of people, you need to have those good values because they will attract the good people. Alright, so the second thing I'm going to talk about is how the carrot is stronger than the stick. And so when I first read this, I was really confused, but what he's meaning by this is, would you rather dangle a carrot in front of their face or beat them with a stick? And Coach Wooden preferred the carrot method. And he says, quote, "Its denial creates desire, yet you get what you want, thereby transforming the carrot into a stick." So he's pretty much saying he would never tell any of his players, like, that's great. He would say, okay, you're getting the hang of it, keep going, because he didn't want them to stop trying to succeed. And he always thought that a really good leader knew when to use the carrot and when to use the stick. And so I think that this philosophy that he used is what made him really successful. Alright, so lastly I'm going to talk about how Coach Wooden used adversity as his asset. He always said you need to play the hand that you're dealt. So a good example is whenever he was the coach at UCLA, the fire marshal came in and told them that they needed to find somewhere else to play their games, that it was over capacity. So for a couple of years, they were playing games all on the coast of California. And, he said it sucked because they didn't have, the home court advantage and everything that came with it. So he told his team that, okay, listen, by doing this, you're going to be, what the distractions are, you're going to be used to traveling. And he took all of the cons and made them into pros. And so he was using that adversity to assist them in the future. And that is another huge reason as to why I think he's the greatest leader in sports. To conclude, Coach John Wooden used the 3 examples that I listed as ways to help improve his leadership skills. Those examples were adversity is your asset, the carrot is mightier than the stick, and how good values attract good people. He did make a lot of mistakes, but he learned from those mistakes, and by learning and going through that experience is what made him the leader that he is. And Coach John Wooden is the greatest leader in all of sports.